Do you ever feel like you're not as smart as everyone else? What if I told you that your most criticized habits are actually signs of genius? Today, we're exploring 9 everyday behaviors that scientists say indicate high intelligence. You might discover you're brilliant and don't even know it. Ready to feel amazing about yourself? Let's count down from 9 to 1. Number 9. Your messy desk isn't laziness, it's actually genius in disguise. Look, I know everyone's always telling you to clean up your workspace. Papers everywhere, old coffee cups, maybe even yesterday's lunch still sitting there. But here's what they don't know. That chaos might actually indicate a brilliant mind. Albert Einstein's desk was famously messy, and he once said, "If a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, what does an empty desk signify?" Steve Jobs and Mark Twain also worked in complete chaos. Scientists at the University of Minnesota discovered something amazing. People working in messy rooms came up with significantly more creative and innovative ideas than those in neat spaces. Why? Because clutter breaks conventional thinking patterns. Your brain makes unexpected connections when surrounded by randomness, but messy desks aren't the only misunderstood habit. Number 8. If you laugh at dark jokes that make others uncomfortable, your brain might be doing some serious mental gymnastics. You know those moments when someone tells a morbid joke and everyone goes silent, but you can't help chuckling? Don't feel guilty. Science is actually on your side here. Researchers showed people dark humor cartoons, like one where a woman at a morgue says, "Yes, that's my husband. By the way, which washing powder did you use to get him so white?" People who understood and enjoyed these jokes scored significantly higher on intelligence tests. They also showed lower aggression levels and reported better moods. Here's why. To get dark humor, your brain has to juggle multiple meanings simultaneously. You process the literal situation, recognize the dark element, then perform a mental shift to find the unexpected twist. It's like your brain is a sophisticated comedian, taking something bleak and finding an ironic angle. Speaking of misunderstood behaviors, number 7. If you're constantly overthinking conversations or replaying awkward moments, your brain might actually be operating on a higher level. I know it doesn't feel like a superpower when you're lying awake at 2 a.m., analyzing what you said 3 hours ago. But here's what research reveals. There's a surprising link between anxiety and higher IQ scores. Why? Because highly intelligent people are exceptionally good at imagining future scenarios, including all the ways things could go wrong. Your brain is essentially running multiple simulations, calculating different outcomes, and that takes serious cognitive horsepower. Scientists call this sentinel intelligence. Evolutionarily speaking, our ancestors who worried about that dark cave or strange noise were more likely to survive. Your overthinking brain is actually scanning for potential threats and opportunities. Now, I'm not saying crippling anxiety is good. If worries are overwhelming your life, please seek help. But that everyday tendency to analyze deeply, that might just be your highly capable brain thinking several steps ahead. But overthinking isn't the only mental habit that gets misunderstood. Number 6. Caught doodling during meetings? Congratulations! Your brain just found a genius way to stay focused. Picture this. You're in a boring conference call and your pen starts wandering across the page, creating random swirls and shapes. Your boss might think you're not paying attention, but science says the complete opposite. Psychologist Jackie Andrade conducted a fascinating experiment. She had people listen to a dull voicemail about a party. Half were allowed to doodle, the other half just listened. The result? Doodlers recalled 29% more information. Here's why it works. When your brain is understimulated, it starts daydreaming about weekend plans or what's for dinner. Doodling gives your mind just enough activity to prevent that mental wandering, without being so engaging that it actually distracts you. Think of it as giving a restless child a simple toy. It keeps them occupied without overwhelming them. And speaking of behaviors that seem counterproductive, number 5. While society celebrates early birds, staying up late might actually be a sign of superior intelligence. If you're naturally drawn to burning the midnight oil, science has your back. Research consistently shows that evening types, what we call night owls, tend to score higher on measures of creativity, independence, and nonconformist thinking. Here's the fascinating part. For most of human history, sunlight dictated when we were active. Being productive when it's dark represents a newer evolutionary trait. Some scientists argue that intelligent individuals are naturally drawn to novel behaviors, and staying up late is evolutionarily novel. Professor Jim Horn found that evening types often excel at creative problem solving and complex puzzles, while morning people are better at straightforward logical tasks. It's like our brains are wired for different types of thinking. Plus, those quiet nighttime hours provide the perfect distraction-free environment for deep thinking. When the world is asleep, your mind can truly wander and make those brilliant connections. But you don't need to wait until nighttime to use your brain strategically. Number 4. If you catch yourself muttering solutions or having conversations in your head, that's actually your brain operating like a high-performance coach. Self-talk isn't random mental chatter. It's a sophisticated cognitive tool. When you talk yourself through a problem out loud or in your mind, you're essentially accessing your brain's built-in tutorial system. Think about it like a detective laying out clues. Okay, so if this happened, then that means your brain is strategizing, staying focused, and processing information more effectively. Highly intelligent people often use self-talk for emotional regulation too. Instead of just feeling stressed, they might think, "This is challenging, but I've handled difficult things before." What's the logical first step? That's not just positive thinking, it's sophisticated cognitive control. The key difference? It's not constant self-criticism, but productive, goal-directed inner dialogue that helps you learn faster and solve problems more effectively. And sometimes the smartest thing you can do is find the easiest way. Number 3. Being called lazy for finding shortcuts might actually mean you have an efficiency-seeking genius brain. Bill Gates once said he'd choose a lazy person for a difficult job because they'll find an easy way to do it. This isn't about being a couch potato, it's about strategic laziness that prioritizes results over effort. Your brain is naturally wired to conserve energy, and that drive to find the most efficient path isn't a character flaw, it's intelligence in action. German General Kurt von Hammerstein-Eckert famously said that officers who were both clever and lazy were destined for the highest leadership positions. A 2015 study even found that people who enjoy thinking tend to be less physically active. Why? Because they're perfectly content sitting still, lost in thought, probably figuring out how to automate their daily tasks. The difference is crucial. This is about strategically simplifying tasks and optimizing processes, not avoiding responsibility altogether. Smart people also tend to question things that don't make sense. Number 2. If you constantly question rules and wonder, why do we do it this way? Your brain might be wired for breakthrough thinking. True innovation rarely comes from people who blindly follow conventions. It comes from those who look at established practices and think, but what if we did the opposite? Take Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis in the 1840s. He noticed that women were dying from childbed fever at 5 times the rate in doctor-run clinics compared to midwife clinics. He realized doctors were going from autopsies to deliveries without washing their hands. His simple hand-washing solution reduced death rates by 90%. The medical establishment ridiculed him for questioning their clean gentleman's hands. Years later, germ theory proved him absolutely right. When you question norms, your brain is actively processing the world, spotting inconsistencies, and imagining better alternatives. It's not rebellion for its own sake. It's a genuine desire to improve and understand. But the ultimate sign of intelligence is something we all do naturally. Number 1. Your ability to decode patterns and read between the lines is the ultimate intelligence superpower. You spot your best friend in a crowded mall just by their walk. You know what your mom's about to say before she says it. You hear 3 notes of a song and instantly know what it is. That's not magic. That's your brain being an absolute detective machine. Scientists call this pattern recognition, and it's your brain's greatest superpower. Every second, you're taking in massive amounts of information, sorting through the chaos, and connecting new data to what you already know. You understand someone with a thick accent because your brain fills in gaps based on learned language patterns. You can tell when someone's lying by tiny changes in their voice. You solve new problems quickly because you recognize similarities to situations you've handled before. Leonardo da Vinci said, "To recognize a pattern is to gain insight, to see beyond the surface and uncover hidden connections." If you're always connecting random topics or getting gut feelings that turn out right, that's your pattern recognition working overtime. And that's a massive sign of high intelligence. So there you have it. 9 everyday habits that actually indicate high intelligence. From your messy desk to your late night scrolling, these behaviors aren't flaws to fix. They're features of a brilliant mind. Stop feeling guilty about your quirks and start celebrating your cognitive superpowers. Your brain is working exactly as it should. If this video opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button. Because next week, we're diving into the hidden signs of emotional intelligence that most people completely miss. What habit surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below.